Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Live here on 3FM 92.7. The bulletin is live from our studio here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra and the numerous affiliates across the country. In Tamale, we are live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and around the world we are streaming live on 3news.com. My name is Godwin Asediba. Coming up this afternoon, John Mahama as your big brother, not your enemy, overlord of Dagban Yana Abubakari Muhammad, the second council's vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who has just touched base in Yendi as part of his second day thank you tour of the northern region. Also in the bulletin, boat owners and fishermen at Yeji and the Bono East region threatened to lay down their tools over the persistent shortage of supply of premixed fuel. We will tell you more about an ultimatum they have just issued. And a while later in the bulletin, Black Stars of Ghana seek revenge against Comoros in a crucial World Cup qualifier, which may put Ghana on the top of the group. We have details of these and other stories coming your way this afternoon. If you stay with us for the next minutes, please don't go anywhere. Thank you for staying with us. We take the details now. This afternoon, boat owners, fishermen and fishmongers at the Yeji in the Bono East region have threatened to lay down their tools if government fails to make available to them premixed fuel within the next 14 days. They say their businesses are on the verge of collapse. Secretary of the group, John Peli, laments the intermittent supply of subsidized premixed fuel has persisted for over 4 years, hence their threat to lay down their tools.
The price of 13,500 liters of premixed fuel has been increased from 18,630 Ghana cedis to 70,000 Ghana cedis. We thought this huge increment could ensure availability, but the worst is what we are experiencing. The floods have actually destroyed people's livelihood and putting lives at stake.
All right, so you just heard the voice of some fishermen there expressing their anger over the lack of access to premixed fuel. Really disturbing. But away from that, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has expressed gratitude to the people of the North for overwhelmingly endorsing his candidature in the recently held presidential primary. Addressing the chiefs and people of Yeji, Dr. Bawumia noted that the real battle lies ahead of the 2024, where he will need their support to beat NDC's John Dramani Mahama.
2024 election campaign campaign September to so I got to campaign in here. Nane Nanjo Mahama yende la campaign tunazanyara api. Ama dole nyere katuhe. So
my colleague Christopher Mwako will be joining us shortly to explain exactly what Dr. Bawumia has been speaking. And on his part, Overlord of Dagban Yana Abubakari, in a speech read on his behalf, urged Bawumia to make peace with NDC's John Dramani Mahama and also engage in a campaign devoid of name calling. Let's now bring our Northern Regional correspondent, Christopher Mwako, who has been covering this story. Christopher, good afternoon. What else has the Vice President been telling the people of Dagban? All right, so we have a little challenge here connecting to our Northern Regional correspondent, Christopher Mwako, but he will be joining us subsequently to bring us details on the back of this. But I also understand that my colleague Komla Kluche is on the grounds with the former President John Dramani Mahama, who also happens to be the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress. He's been in the Bono region for 3 days now on his campaign tour and also to monitor happenings there. We know that he's already been to Techiman and other communities in the Bono East region where he has expressed his displeasures and also spoken to some people who were affected in the last elections and were actually, involved in a shootout and all of that. So he sent in some messages to them, consoling them regarding the incident that happened, and also mentioned that when he becomes president in the next election, such incidents will not get to happen again. And my colleague Komla Kluche at this point is not in parliament, but he has been following the flag bearer of the opposition, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, for the past days, where he has been speaking on things that the former president has been promising the constituents there that when he comes to power, he will be doing. We know that he's already raised issues on poultry farming and how hard the country has become at the moment. So we're hoping to connect with Komla Kluche shortly to get details from him on the back of what the former president has been saying. But before we reach out to him, let's move to other stories. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association says it is disappointed that government in its 2024 budget only granted tax waivers to the Ghana Medical Association to import vehicles, but ignored nurses and midwives, who are equally important in Ghana's healthcare delivery system. He is the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Fori Ampofo, who spoke at a press conference a short while ago. Let's take a listen to what she has been saying.
It therefore came as a surprise when we heard the Honorable Minister of Finance mention something about vehicle import tax waiver in the budget, and mention that government will continue engaging the Ghana Medical Association, because we have all been working hard towards this. And I remember we had the opportunity to submit a paper to His Excellency at the Jubilee House and called for this. Even along the way, when we saw our colleagues moving out of the country, we drew the attention of the Ministry of the importance to let Cabinet know that this waiver can help curb the migration, and therefore it should be reinstituted. Then we would have loved to see that it cuts across all health professionals, especially our nurses and midwives, who form the majority.
Government is seeking to save over $160 million spent annually on the importation of animal products, with the placement of a ban on the internal organs of animals, which serves as a delicacy in Ghana. This policy is captured in a new legislative instrument, which is expected to be laid in Parliament today. The importance of rice will also be affected by this instrument. Minister of Trade and Industry Katie Hammond has been justifying government's action on this.
I had to put an amount of about $164 million towards the importation into the country of this item. Now, I found that rather revolting. I don't particularly understand why items like this should be imported into the country. There is also the issue about importation of rice into the country. Of course, we consume more than we produce in this country, so we import. Now, the purpose of this particular LI is to sanitize what is it that we bring into the country.
So my colleague Duke Opoku-Mensah is in Parliament and has joined us to throw more light on the back of this. Duke, good afternoon. What exactly have you been gathering?
Well, first of all, this morning is a proposed legislative instrument with regards to the selected imported products. I can tell you it has not been laid yet. It will probably be done later on today, because because of what Parliament is doing in relation to the budget debate, it has decided to allot the first 2 hours of sitting to debate on the budget, the 2024 budget, after which they will take the laying of papers and questions from MPs to sitting ministers. So that has not been done, but government is keen on placing a ban on products such as rice and the stomach of animals, what is called in tea, or what is called in local parlance as yamadia. These are the things that government is putting in place a ban on to save the country from $164 million. Apart from that, the budget debate as we speak is currently unfolding. The Minister for Information is seconding the motion moved by the Minister for Finance last Wednesday. Today it has started, and various members of Parliament will take trends to the base sectors of the economy. Principal speakers or ministers of state will have 20 minutes, and then deputy ministers and other members of the House would have 15 minutes to speak. So that's what's going on here, Asediba.
Know that the Minister of Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, has been justifying government action. Has there been anything more that he has been saying?
Well, he's indicated, he provided justification, he indicated that these are things that can be produced in Ghana. For instance, the stomach of animals, the animals that are killed here, there are things that need to be done deliberately to engender the growth of the local industry instead of spending money to import more of these products.
All right, thank you very much. Duke Mensah is in Parliament, bringing us up to speed with happenings in Parliament. Parliament, we know, has commenced debate on the 2024 budget with a statement to second the motion by Information Minister Kojo Opong and Kroma. And the House has decided to allot sitting time every day up to 2 p.m. on debate till the budget statement is passed. Away from that, let's do some sports news now. And we know that the Black Stars will later today play Comoros in a crucial World Cup qualifier that could see the Blacks top Group I. It will be the fourth meeting between the two countries after the last met in the 2021 AFCON in Cameroon, where the Black Stars lost by 3-2. Ahead of the game, Black Stars coach Chris Hughton says he wants to use the momentum garnered from the Madagascar encounter to win today's game. Let's take a listen to what he has been saying.
All you look for this is to one, get some momentum from this, because for anybody thinks that Comoros will be an easy game, for sure not. The pitch we will play on will be a difficult pitch that they're used to playing on. But this, I think, particularly when you score in the manner we did, last moment, it gives you, I think, just that little bit more. So what we're all hopeful for is that momentum from this game and from this second half, taking that into Comoros will see us in good stead.
Well, he also insists he will treat each game as a one-off affair. Let's take a listen.
Our preparation has been the same as it's always been. We have to prepare exactly the same for every single game that we play. And we know the difficulty of every game, and we have to make sure that we are prepared. Every game is different, so whatever results there have ever been in the past, we always have to look at this next game as a one-off game, always. And this is what all our preparations have been for. No, as I said in the last question, everything that is in the past is the past. We have to look at every game as a one-off game. We are on the back of a good win on Friday, and so are Comoros. So both teams, I presume, would come into the game with good confidence, having won their last game. Our preparations are for a very tough game against a Comoros team that are playing at home and are on the back of a good win. And all we can do is make sure that we prepare ourselves for that. We know that to win tomorrow, we will have to play at a good level. This we know, and this we understand. And this is what we have prepared for.
All right, let's go back to our earlier story where the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has expressed gratitude to the people of the North for overwhelmingly endorsing his candidature in the recently held presidential primary. Addressing the chiefs and people of Yendi, Dr. Bawumia noted that the real battle lies ahead in 2024, where he will need their support to beat the NDC's John Dramani Mahama. And on this part, Overlord of Dagban, Yana Abu Kari, in a speech read on his behalf, urged Dr. Bawumia to make peace with NDC's John Mahama and also engage in a campaign devoid of name-calling. Let's now bring you closer to this matter, and our Northern Regional Correspondent Christopher Mwako has been covering this story, and he joins us for more details. Christopher, good afternoon. What else has the Vice President been telling the people of Dagban?
Okay, so the Vice President responding to the appeal made by the Overlord of Dagbon and Yana Abukari II on the need for him and his team to conduct a clean campaign ahead of the 2024 general election, gave the assurance that he was going to run a clean campaign. However, he indicated that he will respond to issues of misconceptions as carried out by the former president across the country on his tour, and that this is evidence-based campaign they are going to do, and he's going to make sure that the work that the MPP government has done over the years is going to speak for itself in this campaign period.
So where next will he be going to after Yendi?
Okay, so he's currently on his way to Bimbila, where he will interact with the chief and people of Bimbila. Then from Bimbila, he'll be moving to Saboba, still in the northern region. Then after Saboba, he'll be crossing over to the Savannah region. Yesterday, he started his tour of the three regions of the north from his home region, that is the northeast region, where he held a mammoth rally in Nalerigo before coming to Tamale. So hopefully today he'll be done with his tour of the northern region and also commence that of the Savannah region.
Thank you, Christopher Mwako, for all those details. Christopher Mwako is a Northern Regional correspondent who is bringing us up to speed with happenings in Yendi as far as the visit of Dr. Bawumia is concerned. Now also go on phone and speak to Komla Kloche, who's on grounds with the flag bearer of the largest opposition party, the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. Komla, if you can hear me, good afternoon. We know that the flag bearer of the opposition, National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, has been making a lot of allegations, but what exactly has he been saying this time around?
Well, specifically on this matter of the 24-hour economy, John Mahama did not make any allegations. He stressed, and in fact, he didn't even mention the name of the flag bearer of the MPP. He only stressed that, well, he has heard some people, are making comments that the 24-hour economy is not well thought through and all that. Well, he insisted that one is unfazed, and he also intimated that yes, it will create a lot of jobs, but if this has to be done, one, there's a need for it to be voluntary, and he is insisting that it's voluntary. But companies or businesses who are interested in it, yes, must apply. And when they make their intentions known, what his administration, if given the mandate of the people, would do is to give them tax incentives and also provide security for them, because 24-hour economy requires security. And if you are going to give security, it also means that you are employing more people into the security services. So it's a well thought out thing, and that they have people or a crack team that is looking into it and looking at the modalities. There's no wonder that the PUC has described this as a game changer. And so whatever the MPP or Dr. Bawumia is saying, well, it means very little to him, and he's focused on his campaign, and that's it.
But has Mahama been saying anything regarding what Bawumia has been saying?
So just like I said, he did not mention Dr. Bawumia's name, but only intimated that some people are saying the 24-hour economy is not well thought through and all that. It is already happening, but he didn't mention the name of Dr. Bawumia, but only insisted that this is something that he would do. A lot of consultation has gone into this, and there's still so much consultation regarding this. And so it is going to be the game changer, even as described by the... And so for him, it is not an issue at all. Whatever criticism it can come, but it's something he would see or ensure that they implement if they come to power.
Which areas is he likely to visit again?
John Mahama has just started his 2-day tour, building Ghana Together tour of the Hapo region. In the past 4 days, he started from the Bono region and went to Bono East today. He is starting a 2-day tour of the Bono region. He first went to the St. Joseph Training College where he made the responses. Now we are more also in the Hapo region. From here, he's going back to the same where you'll be holding a town hall meeting and all that. But essentially, the 2 days is going to be focused on the Ahafo region, which would conclude a 6-day tour of the entire Bono area.
All right, thank you very much, Komla Kluche, for bringing us to speed with happenings in the Bono East region as far as Dr. John Dramani Mahame's tour is concerned, and you just hear him speak on what the president has been saying. But let's go back to sports and speak to Bill Eshen with the sports desk, who has just joined me here in the studio. Bill, you were in Kumasi for the game against Madagascar. What kind of energy do you expect the boys to show in this game?
Most of the boys would have this at the back of their minds and would want to get that revenge. But it is going to be a very tough match.
Yeah, just before you come in, we had a technical glitch here, but then I was asking you what you're expecting from the boys. If you can take that again.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that the boys will probably be thinking of revenge because against Comoros in 2022, during the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, in the last group game, they were defeated by 3-2, which meant Ghana just exited their group with just 1 point. That was their worst ever AFCON showing. And so they would have that at the back of their minds. They would want to get a result against Comoros. And it's not like it's something that hasn't happened before. Under Kwesi Appiah, Ghana defeated Comoros by 2-0 in the World Cup qualifiers. And so it's going to be an interesting battle between two clubs who probably know each other, two nations that know each other very well. And so we would wait to see what happens there.
But what do you expect the lineup to look like?
So, I mean, in the previous game, Richard Ofori started in goal. I think Loris Atizigi will get back his place. Then Isodoi, for the sake of the good performance, he put back in Kumasi at the right back. In centre back, since there's Kasim Nuhu, who came in for Daniel Amate, who was injured, and Daniel Amate will miss the game. So Kasim Nuhu should take that place alongside Nicolas Opoku at the centre of defence. And at left back, there should be Gideon Mensah. In midfield, it's a bit dicey because Mohamed Kudus is sweating for fitness and he might not play. And if that happens, that means Majid Ashimeru might take the number 10. And so Baba Idrisu and Salis Abdul Samed should be the pairing at the double pivot for him. And then at the attack, there should be the maintenance of the same three that were used to start against Madagascar: Jordan Ayew, Iñaki Williams, and Antoine Semenyo.
You know, you were in the Ashanti Regional Capital to monitor the match, and a game with Madagascar, people raised concerns of the team struggling and all and had to score a goal at the end. What do you think can be done to make them, more strong to be able to win other matches ahead?
The thing about Chris Hughton is he's usually a conservative manager, very conservative. And it's something that has stuck with him since he started his managerial career. He's not known to be someone who attacks a lot. And in his 8 games he's managed the Black Stars as head coach, there's only been 2 matches where the Black Stars have scored 2 goals or more. That was against Liberia in a friendly and also against the Central African Republic to qualify for this 2023 AFCON, which is coming in 2024. And so that is the whole issue with Chris Hughton. What fans really think, that he sets up his side to be more conservative. If he sets up his side to be more proactive, then we shall see a lot more goals and a lot more exciting football, just as we did in the second half against Madagascar on Friday.
So how will it look for Ghana if we win or lose?
So if we win, that means Ghana will go top of Group I in qualification. And that will be a big boost because Mali is the other big opponent that Ghana have to face. They are a top seed and Ghana was second tier. And so if Ghana goes top, then it gives a bit of an advantage. But if Ghana loses, then Comoros will rather go on top. And that is something that I don't think a lot of Ghanaians would want to hear or see because of the memories that happened just last year in the AFCON.
But does it look like Ghana will be winning?
Ghana has a chance, but the thing is, Mohamed Kudus is a doubt. And we know how important Muhamed Kudus is to the side when it comes to creativity, when it comes to scoring goals. Also, Daniel Amati, who is a leader in defense, is also out. And so that makes it a bit more difficult. And, I mean, Comoros still have, some players in there that can cause problems, like Saeed, who scored in the previous game as well. So they do have to watch out for that as well.
In as much as a lot of people have lost confidence when it comes to the national team, we know that anytime Ghana is playing, you find a certain class of people who are, chanting and celebrating. Have you been to town? What is the mood like ahead of the match?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a bit mixed. Some Ghanaians will say, I don't care about the Black Stars. But when the match starts, you will see them right behind their TV sets watching. Absolutely. If they don't watch, they will listen on radio and try and find out, the scoreline. So I believe the love is still there and the love will always be there. But the Black Stars have to reward that love with better performances in games. And that starts today.
But do you think Chris is doing well?
That's a tough one. It depends on who is analyzing him. Because when it comes to, Chris came in as some guy who is meant to bring defensive solidity into the side. Yeah. And if anything is to go by, against USA and Mexico, Ghana conceded a lot, 4-2. And so that defeated that purpose of having defensive solidity. So I think Chris Hughton has to improve as a coach because, some of the wins, in fact, almost all the wins that Ghana has had hasn't been convincing. Even Madagascar wasn't convincing. It was the second half the team stepped up. In the first half, the team managed just one shot on target, which was piss poor. And so it is that, conservative kind of football that Chris brings that brings the whole lot of problems. I think he has to improve on that front. And team dynamics, I think he hasn't really understood the team dynamics yet. Who to pair with who at what particular point in time. And I think if he gets that, then Ghana can, go far in any tournament.
But what are your score predictions ahead of the match?
I think it should be a 1-0 victory for the Black Stars. I think it's going to be a very close call because Ghana is going away to Moroni and it's going to be a tough match. Comoros aren't pushovers either. They won their last match by 4-2, which shows that they can't score goals. And so looking at this, it should be a very, very tight game. If Chris Hughton does play a bit defensive, it should be a very close scoreline. I think it's a 1-0.
What are the other games that you think we should look out for?
If it's for Ghana, of course, there's Ghana-Mali, which should be coming next year. It should be the biggest match that Ghana has in Group I. And, of course, other nations like Senegal and the rest will also be in action as they hope to qualify for the World Cup. Do you remember that at least 9 teams are qualifying for the 2026 World Cup, which is huge. And so the places are up for grabs. The teams who top each group would automatically qualify for the competition. And so it is a big ask. It's a big challenge, for any team that is competing, especially for Ghana. And looking at the fixtures they have with Mali, they have with Chad, they have to play with Madagascar again, they have to play Mali again, they have to play Comoros again. So it's a tough, lineup of fixtures for Ghana.
But which players are you looking forward to see play on the pitch?
Iñaki Williams. The previous game,
because he scored a goal.
Oh, even apart from the fact that he scored a goal, he showed a lot of hunger. He showed a lot of drive. He was moving to the right channels, the right spaces. When I was watching him in Kumasi, the right channels, the right spaces, he was calling for the ball a lot. He was taking players on. Anytime he had the ball, he wanted to take someone on and try and create a chance. And so, looking at the fact that he scored the goal, which is a very, very big boost for someone who had gone 11 games without scoring. And the criticism and the pressure was coming upon him. Now that pressure is gone. And so he should come into the game with a lot more confidence and be looking to score. I hope to see Enes Nyama later in the game. He's someone who likes dribbling a lot. He's a very good dribbler. And he's someone who, of course, has a very great connection with Kudus, who, unfortunately, he might not be there, but he brings another option when it comes to attack. And it's something that we need, especially against Comoros.
All right, thank you very much, Billy Shen, for throwing more light on the match that will be happening today. At what time?
Yeah, 4 p.m. 4 p.m.
Exactly. So you should definitely be stay tuned to your television sets to get to know exactly what Ghana will be doing today. And yeah, that's how we end the news this afternoon. But you should also be informed that the commentary will be here on 3FM 92.7 at exactly 4 p.m. run by my colleague Kevin Ansa, who will also, a very solid guy who will be leading you ahead of the match. So you should definitely be tuned in here at exactly 4 p.m. here on 3FM 92.7. But before we go here, as a recap of our headlines, John Mahama is your big brother, not your enemy, overlord of Dagban. Yana Abubakari Muhamed, the Second Council's Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who has just touched base in Yendi as part of his second day thank you tour of the northern region. We also know that boat owners and fishermen at Yeji in the Bono East region threatened to lay down their tools over the persistent shortage of supply of premix fuel. We'll tell you more about the ultimatum they have just issued. That's if you log on to www.3news.com, you can get to have more insights on that development. We also told you about the Black Stars of Ghana to seek revenge against Comoros in a crucial World Cup qualifier, which may put Ghana on top of Group I. And that's it for midday news this afternoon here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Godwin Asediba. Business is next with Manu Afo. Manu, good afternoon. What do you have for us?
So the Intelligence Unit is predicting that the city will be trading in the single digits sometime next year. But the details in our bulletin.
Absolutely. All of that coming your way soon. Do stay with us.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's edition of Business Daily. Coming up this afternoon, cedi to record single-digit depreciation in 2024, backed by IMF program. We'll bring you the details of the 2024 Africa Outlook report by the Economist Intelligence Unit. Also, government justifies 2024 budget, citing financial constraints as challenges to its ability to fulfill business expectations for tax reliefs.
Even though some businesses are complaining that it was not extensive enough, we believe that that's as much as we could go.
Meanwhile, Association of Ghana Industry says it will continue to push for some tax reviews to cushion manufacturing sector. We'll bring you the details of these stories and many other more shortly. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll start off with our first story. In its recently released 2024 Africa Outlook report, the Economist Intelligence Unit has revealed that the Ghana cedi is poised to experience a single-digit depreciation against the US dollar next year. The UK-based firm attributes this positive outlook to the anticipated benefits from the International Monetary Fund program. According to the EIU, the IMF extended credit facility is expected to influence the single-digit inflation in 2024. The report highlights that among African nations, only Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, Angola, and Zimbabwe are expected to face double-digit depreciation of their currencies in 2024. This positions Ghana's currency favorably within the continent. However, in the current retail market scenario, the cedi is currently selling at 12 cedis 18 pesos, reflecting existing pressures. Elevated demand from corporates and importers, particularly in the lead-up to Christmas, has contributed to this situation. Notably, analysts suggest that this demand might ease with the impending arrival of the first tranche of the cocoa syndicated loan following parliamentary approval. GCB Capital emphasizes that the cedi's future stability is contingent upon the timing of the expected foreign exchange inflows from both the cocoa syndicated loan and the second tranche of the IMF loan. The investment bank deems these factors critical for the cedi's performance in the remaining months of 2023. That was a 3 Business Desk report. Away from that, government says it was financially constrained to provide the needed tax reliefs the business community looked forward to in the 2024 budget. Speaking at a post-budget forum organized by accounting and auditing firm KPMG in Accra, Chief Director at the Ministry of Finance, Eva Menz, said the country could only afford a few tax reliefs announced in the financial statement in order to give government some fiscal space to embark on key infrastructural projects.
The government is determined to stay on this path of consolidation, and we will not jeopardize the commitments that we've shown up until this time. We would implement all the tax measures, include especially the tax reliefs, to ensure that there is a bit of freedom within the system for businesses to operate. And even though some businesses are complaining that it was not extensive enough, we believe that that's as much as we could go. And honestly, it was difficult giving tax reliefs this year because we need every penny that we can get. As I said, we are not getting money from external resources, we are not getting money from central bank, and therefore every penny, every cedi that we give away means that less expenditure for the roads, for the hospitals, for Kolebu. So it was important that we protect every penny that we could, but yet we gave away some, and those came in the form of tax relief.
That was the Chief Director at the Ministry of Finance, Eva Menz. Meanwhile, Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chum-Akwabwa, says his outfit will continue to engage government on the need for review in some taxes.
From where we have come from, a single-digit inflation.
The local producers, if you put them together, the total production installed capacity is 50% more than the whole country needs. And therefore, why should you encourage importation by reducing or exempting them from import duties? So those are the details we have to work on. But I'm sure as we engage government, they will understand where we're coming from. That in the midst of trying to help, trying to come out with policies should not be overly generalized. You need to look at specific situations where you can run counter to your very objective, good, noble objective that we have. So those ones are the ones that we will look at. So generally speaking, the tax waivers and the duties that duty exemptions we got were good. The ones that were not tackled, I think we have to continuously engage government and see how best we can reposition those taxes.
Seth Chum-Akwabwa is Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries. Away from that, a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Priscilla Chumesi, is urging government to ensure fiscal prudence in order to achieve growth target for 2024.
From where we have come from, a single-digit inflation, the economy has gone through tough times, reaching an all-time high of 54%. And so in that sense, the 15% is a moderate, target, although I must say that it is achievable, but it has to be achieved with a lot of discipline, particularly discipline on the fiscal side, in the sense that the gains we are seeing as a result of some of the constraints that have been put in place. And given that 2024 is an election year, it is something that we are watching the space to see whether the target is something that would be achieved. I believe that it should not be an unattainable target.
That was a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Priscilla Chumesi there. Also, Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, has cautioned governments against being complacent with respect to the recent decline in food inflation. Dr. Nyaba insists that proper measures must be put in place to sustain the phenomenon in 2024.
Ghana's food inflation has declined by 18.6 percentage points from 47.9% in January 2023 to 29.3% in September 2023. However, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana believes that this can only be sustained in the 2024 fiscal year if the country's hamper harvest is protected.
We are seeing that food inflation is stabilized now. This is because we are in the bumper season. Now, if you travel here through Asante region, Bono, Northern, Northeast, Upper West, you realize that farmers are harvesting various types of commodities. But in going forward, if we are not smart to start stocking these commodities that are in the market, and we allow our neighbors, the Burkinabes, the Ivorians, and the Nigerians to come and buy them, what we experience at the early part of the year and last year will repeat itself again. I say this because we are always quick in being complacent that, we've been able to stabilize prices. Yet we don't put measures to ensure that we sustain those stability.
The association wants government to increase investments in the agricultural sector to process more local produce and stock to avoid losing the country's harvest to neighboring countries.
But I think we have control. Government just need to step in, support us, mobilize what has been produced, stock it, or support those who are into processing to be able to process them. If that is done, at least the food is within Ghana. So if prices will increase at all, it won't be like we experienced at the beginning of the year.
And that was a report on the need to sustain the decline in food inflation ahead in 2024. That is how we bring the business segment on Business Daily to an end. My name is Minwafo. Do stay tuned. Black Rasta will join in with Urban Blend.